The guys your age still come to me and say sir to me. The kids nowadays, they think it's a sin to use that word to adult. So, I commend you guys, but I want to get these kids following in that direction.
Right.
And this young man with the drum line is doing a good job because he's got a lot of people interested in it.
Right.
Yeah. And I've seen the kids in performance, and they're like really into it. They're like really happy that they have joined them. I've seen them in the parade, a few times, and man, it's amazing, just to see them all in unison, just like with the drum line say, all of them making one sound. It's just like
one sound, one drum, one sound.
One sound.
Well, just to add to that drum thing, the drum line came from my college, Morris
Brown. Always. Well, AUC all day. Yes, absolutely.
I just had to throw that out.
Absolutely. So yeah, good, wonderful points we're all making. I hope the listeners are taking this in. But let's go a little deeper with the guns that are coming into our communities and the youth, the teens that are choosing to kill, actually, just to shoot to kill before any no conflict resolution. I remember when I was in high school, it used to be a peer-to-peer mediation group. If you had difficulty, if you had arguments, disagreements in school, you would have to come before a peer and argue your points, and a solution would have to come out of that, whether it would be both you guys going to detention or some kind of community service that you would have to do. Now, I went to school in city New York, so maybe, the different environment, resources were a little bit different. But it seems that the conflict resolution, I don't know if it's a subject or a topic, or it seems like they just want to resolve to first having access to guns, and then resolving to, let's not just, meet you on the schoolyard at 3:00 and we're going to just fight it out. No, I'm going to shoot you because whatever you did, your life is not valued. And I think that's a key thing, is that these kids are not valuing life. And it comes from spiritual. And, growing up, there used to be that myth, I call it a myth, that, and it might be some truth in that fathers are not there. I tend to see fathers are present. And of course, I grew up without, knowing my father. I'm coming from a single mom as well. But to listen to the media, they make it seem like all our fathers are locked up. Everyone locked up. Ain't no one trying to step up to the plate. From Chicago to New York to L.A. to all these other major, urban cities. And I don't always think that's the case. So with the access to guns and with the youth not really valuing life, what do you think, us as parents, us as teachers, us as activists, as youth, Randy, what do you think needs to be done, not so much on the structure of nonprofit and charity, but just coming from the home?
Well, I always say everything with a child starts at home. Because you know what, if you wake up in the morning, you don't get a meal, you don't get washed up, and you're just not going to be ready to go. It's like when I start my car, if I don't have gas, we're not going to go.
Right.
And I'm like this. It starts at home, whether the parents have two parents or one parent. And I commend a lot of the ladies I see out here that, matter of fact, I went to graduation this morning for the kindergartens. Whether there were two parents or one, everybody was well represented. Every child had people showing love with balloons or flowers or whatever they brought. So, everybody's got some love. We don't know what the situation is at home, but I pray that each parent would start home preaching to their kids about the violence and the danger of guns and making wise choices with your friends. One thing I always tell my son, you know right from wrong. So I expect you, even if your friends say do wrong, I expect you to turn the cheek and go the other way. But do they all do that? No, they don't. But again, you asked the question, what could we do? I think we need to formulate something with these young men to teach them the danger of violence and the incident the other day at the prison.
Right.
Horrible, just
Horrible.
horrendous, and it just tore me to pieces. And I'm like, young men, I didn't want them to see it because it was so graphic, but
Right.
they need to be aware of it.
Aware, yeah.
Because there's consequences for these actions that they're
Actions,
making
yeah.
right now. And,
Yeah.
and I just pray to God that our kids don't get to that.
Right.
So I am here, and if you're out there listening and you want to formulate with the Men of Action, we call ourselves Men of Action, but we're also open to women as well. So everybody is welcome to come to the meetings, give your input, and let's make this thing happen for this community.
Right. And Stephen, what do you think?
It hurts my heart. I'm a
Yeah.
lot younger than people think I am. That's the way I carry myself. But one thing Mr. Randy said is it does start with love. And to piggyback off of what you said, no, not a good percentage of our fathers are locked up, but not everybody is. And I know from experience, like you have some that are not locked up, that are not present, you do have some of those men that do step up.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a conflict of the ones who step up and the ones that are not there.
They're not there.
Why are you getting mad because someone wants to love your child and
Love
take
your child.
Amen.
There we go.
Thank God that somebody wants to, as long as they're not leading them in the wrong direction,
Right.
doing anything to harm them, what's your problem?
Right.
With my children, there are some that single family homes, but I just showed them that I care.
Right.
And you'll be surprised. They'll come to you and they'll express themselves, and when they're dealing with stuff, you got to, even my little people, like sometimes I can learn stuff from them, but you got to listen.
You gotta listen.
Nobody wants
Yeah.
to listen, and like
Yeah.
they feel like, okay, because they're a certain age, or but these kids are really dealing with stuff. As far as the guns are concerned, we have to be real. You got two choices: jail or dead.
Yeah.
Man.
Stop sugarcoating stuff for these kids. It's not like, and it's like they seek attention, so they get involved with, so I try to give them a way out.
Right.
You don't have to join the next gang. You don't have to. You
Right.
don't have to do that. But the thing is, since all things town, like there's nothing here for them to get a way out.
Right.
So somebody has to do something where they can be a part of. Another thing, I feel like they're driven by the music. I'm a musician, and I realize what lies behind music. And people don't understand that there are messages and there are different spirits in music that when they get into these kids, sometimes they don't even know why they're
Why they acting out?
but
Yes.
because it went through their ears, or they saw something on TV, and the image that is being painted, they feel like that's the way to live, but
Yeah.
that's not, and like he said, it was a very, 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 very sad thing. As far as the prison thing, I don't even know what to do but
Yeah,
pray.
But pray.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Crazy.
that's my take on it.
And to elaborate on that, I know the young guy personally. I used to have him playing kickball in the field up French Street with my kids and his parents, auntie and stuff. And I recently lost a little cousin, Shaw Cox, of gun violence. So it struck my family close. He got shot in the back out there in the Oakland community. And his mom's is my first cousin. And, it touched home. And he was just being disciplined about, stay home. So my thing is, can we bring that discipline love back?
Right.
Well, in other words, it seemed like they take that, I'm gonna say it, the ass whipping out the home. Like we used to get that good little butt whipping that straighten out. You ain't doing right.
Right.
Yeah.
And until time to leave out, we straighten out. But now you can't have that type of disciplinary love, because you got kids calling the cops on parents, and it seems like the system is involved in the household now.
Right.
So and I don't know how it becomes to that, because the system is in the household. Like you can't even discipline your child or putting hands on him. from there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you have to find a communication line. You know, there's a lot of kids out here that have what you call it, the ADHD and all of this,
yeah.
and you can't put it. You got to find a way to communicate with them. And sometimes it's just like if you're not experiencing that, like how am I supposed to deal with this?
Right.
Right.
Great point with the ADHD thing. We talk a lot about getting funding for more school safety. I think we need to have some funds allocated for more school psychologists in the schools to talk to these kids, be there for these kids when these kids need somebody that could talk to them about these dangers and things like that. And these kids that are having these problems with ADHD, they need psychology people that specialize in, relating to these type of
Are there
things.
school psychologists in the school system currently?
They do, but very few.
Very few. Okay.
So
Right.
I feel like more of our funding needs to go towards putting these type of people in our school system.
Right.
Funding is good, but the way I feel like when there's a need, I don't think you should think about the dollar because it's like they don't want to come in and talk unless you're gonna pay them. You know, it's like where's your heart? You know, and it's like you can, it's good to have the funding. If you got someone that's gonna be there as an employee or something like that.
Well, that's what I'm
But
talking
it's like
Yeah.
call me up one day and say, if it's one of my kids or somebody I just know in the community, if you know you can reach them, talk to them.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
and you're right, but when we're talking about allocating funds for whether it's teachers, staff, and this needs to be included. And I understand what you're saying because I was in the high school yesterday. I go to school all the time, and I'm usually in the cafeteria where a lot of kids come, and they'll come running up to me. By the way, we got a new football coach from Dillon. He's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
And
All
I
right.
think he's going to bring us some good things here.
Yeah.
And I was talking to kids yesterday that came up to me that used to play in my program, and they don't play football currently. And they met the coach, and they really interested, and they said they're going to come back out. So, when you get in there and talk to kids, sometimes,
Yeah.
they feel like, even if they're just shooting you a bunch of smoke, the fact that you over there talking to them, they want
Right.
to
They
tell
want
you
to
something
tell you
positive.
something positive.
So,
Yeah.
and trust me, I'm going to be back because I told them. They know I come all the time.
Right.
I feel like it's my duty to walk around the school, talk to the principals, talk to the teachers, talk to everybody because, as a board member, there's a lot more going on than education.
Right.
The different things with staffing to make sure that things are going correct for them as well.
Right.
Because, you can have your staff that's put in bad positions by other people that needs somebody to help them as well. So,
Right.
So you go around, you talk to everybody, see what their needs are. Okay.
All right. Well, get back to that was good. Good conversation. I really enjoyed hearing everyone's perspective on that. We're going to kind of wrap it up to right now. And so, Stephen, what goals do you think you hope to achieve this year or going forward with your drumline, community drumline?
Just continue the vision that that God has given me for these kids.
Right.
I know there's going to be expansion, and I pray for more support than we get. But just continue the vision. That's all I can do. And I tell my kids and parents all the time. We have a thing, and it's in my guidelines. I stay in my lane.
Right.
If you stay in your lane, you don't have to worry about who's doing this over here, who's doing this over here. And if I do that, I can't go forward, keep looking back. So
Right.
my goal is just to keep continuing the vision.
Right.
And just, I do my best. God do the rest. So I just keep going.
I hear that. And Randy, what are some of the goals you hope to achieve in your is it still newly elected? You're still
Well,
newly.
it's not new anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like my feet is really wet now.
Yeah.
And, I've learned a lot going to different conferences. And,
Right.
And when I went to D.C. and to be around people from little towns in Iowa and just to hear how
Middle